of our staff and/or who is our leadership person on this. Two, can we make sure that the research would include and be not limited to the impacts of gentrification, the loss of tiny little businesses that have grassroots, those types of things, both in the gentrification of the businesses as well as the people that are currently in affordable housing, as well as the current residents. Equally, the neighborhood residents and businesses cannot be left out. There's also no mention of the impacts that the residents must live with each day in terms of the central corridor, the parking problems, the hanging out, those types of things. So I want to make sure that at least the gentrification issues, both in the business community and the small businesses, because it talks about income, it also about jobs lost going back to 2001. So who is the person that I can target, and I mean that in a friendly way, to make sure that, one, because what happened on the Snelling University the Snelling University, shall we say, study, was we gave all of this thing and said, oh, you've got to include the neighborhood, you've got to get a baseline, and it didn't happen. I want to make sure who is going to be held accountable for this.
Is there someone here?
I see the gathering of eagles in the back, so the one eagle is flying forward.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Redmond, you could target Tim Masick, but he's out of town today.
Steve, can you introduce yourself?
I'm afraid you'll have to target me. Steve Morris, staff with the Ramsey County Rail Authority. Tim is the lead person in Ramsey County's work with this group, and for some time the Center for Transportation Studies has done excuse me, fairly pure research on the impacts of transitways. And to a portion of Commissioner Rettman's issue, some of the research that they've been working on lately is trying to identify the impacts on housing and business values along the Hiawatha Corridor and what those impacts have been. And it certainly doesn't go as far as Commissioner Rettman's talking about, but they're trying to use kind of the actual statistical data off of Hiawatha to draw some conclusions. So it's a little different than what you're talking about, but it's using the statistics of the actual Hiawatha stuff.
Madam Chair, what I'm specifically, if I may, saying is, if we add it, will it be done? Okay, I'm sorry, it's like, and I'm talking about not slanting it one way or the other. I don't do slants. What I do want to do is have empirical data on the viability, because it's not the values, it's the people lost. Sure. It's the buildings lost that are not quantified by just a value. And part of the draft EIS and part of the supplemental EIS and part of the final EIS always talks about these types of things that are drivers. So I'm trying to be consistent with what we have tried to do, is make sure that this is not artificially gentrifying a neighborhood and running out the businesses that we are hoping to keep. So can that be done?
We've got a couple of people from the U here who can talk a little bit about the process, but it has to do with what the researchers can identify as issues and projects and ways to approach it. So some of the things that you're talking about may be a little more qualitative in nature, but I would invite you to come up and maybe talk a little bit about this subject.
Welcome. Thank you. I'm John Spannicky with the University of Minnesota Center for Transportation Studies, and one of the managers working on this program. We do have a program management team that is assigned to this project, and so all of the partners have representatives on that program management team. And part of their job is to work with the researchers to identify research needs that are of interest to the university, interest nationally, and interest to the local communities to address these transitway impacts questions. So there is a mechanism to talk to the Ramsey County staff members who are on those boards to let your needs be known, and then we can put that as part of the process to identify our research projects.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Rettman.
Then, Steve, you're back on the hot seat. Don't get comfortable. Steve?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So if we ask you to draft up what you think I am saying and bring it forward, because I didn't hear you being the person on that.
Tim serves on that committee, and I serve on the staff.
And then that you could draft it up and bring it back to this board, and make sure that it is there, or could we just add it today, and do you get the sense?
Whatever the board's wishes. I mean, we could certainly, if you wanted to pass something today, then we could draft something up and get it back to you that reflected that, or whatever you wish to do.
I would so move. What is it? Madam Chair, I am specifically requesting that the gentrification, that making sure that the gentrification issue, on page 2 of the executive summary, it says the impacts of research program will measure changes in property values, land use and housing mix, economic and business impacts in terms of closing, number of jobs, et cetera, travel behavior, crime and safety impacts, and community cohesion. I am specifically talking, and I believe Commissioner Carter, I can't, we've not talked on this, but I think you have similar concerns in terms of the gentrification, in terms of the loss of current loss of affordable housing versus new affordable housing, and the gentrification of both businesses and residences. Those are the 3 items I would like added under the impacts of the research will be performed. And so I would move that amendment.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
May I comment?
Okay, on this, Commissioner Reinhardt.
Okay, the motion is the resolution, and what you're talking about is not in the resolution. And no, it's not, I mean, the resolution that we're voting on is whether or not we include this in our federal legislative package for the 111th Congress. So that's the motion that's here. I think maybe what we need to do is do 2 different motions. The first one being, rather than amendment, to say that it is Ramsey County's position that gentrification of the businesses and residents, you said there were 3, and I don't know what the third one was.
The third one is in terms of the loss of affordable housing, of current affordable housing for new
and the loss of
affordable housing.
Current affordable housing under the impact section of what we expect them to do. And once so that we're saying, this is what we want you to do.
Right.
We want to make sure that that's included.
That's fair enough.
So if we could vote on that first, and then, assuming that passes, then that would be implicit, yes, in the resolution.
Okay, so does everybody understand? First of all, we're not talking about the specific resolution. This is
Right.
I'm sorry.
The work
motion to, a direction to staff to include in the scope of the project.
Correct.
Direction of
Okay, roll call, please.
Carter,
Yes.
McDonough.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Rettman.
Yes.
Bennett.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye. Okay, next, then
Is
we're
the-
back to the motion that's before us, the resolution to support the legislation to do this project. Okay, any,
Did I already, we already moved that, right? Yep. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
okay, so we have a motion and a second before us. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Carter.
Yes.
McDonough.
Aye.
Ortega.
Aye.
Reinhardt.
Aye.
Rettman.
Yes.
Bennett.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And if you're not clear, let me ask Steve. Thank you.
Okay,